Next, we're going to hear from Attorney General Chris Carr. Attorney General Chris Carr has been a leader in the fight against human trafficking, illegal immigration, and violent crime, and he has defended the heartbeat law every step of the way. Please join me in welcoming Attorney General and candidate for governor, Chris Carr.
Thank you all so much. Good afternoon, Mac. Thank you so much for the introduction. Ralph, thank you for your leadership, not just in the state, but in our nation. And Governor and First Lady, thank you all for what y'all have done. Thank you for being here. And thank you all for being here as well. Thanks to the Faith and Freedom Coalition for the invitation and for the work that you do for our state. As Senator Kennedy said, it's great to be with people who care deeply about Georgia, who care about the role that faith plays in our lives and the direction that our state is headed. A commitment to faith has guided my public service. I currently serve as Georgia's Attorney General, proudly served as the Commissioner of Economic Development under Governor Deal, served as Chief of Staff to U.S. Senator Johnny Isakson, and working hand in hand with Governor Kemp, I know what steady leadership looks like, and I know how to stand by my convictions. And that's how I've served as the Attorney General, and it is why I am running for governor. Georgia is strong because we hold the line. That's why this organization matters. You understand the simple reality that if we lose the foundation, freedom is next. Religious freedom is one of the foundations of this nation, and it is being tested every day. As Attorney General, I have gone to court to protect prayer in schools, public meetings, and the right of students and coaches to express their faith openly. This isn't about whether government agrees with you, it's about whether the government has the power to silence you, and it does not. And in Georgia, we draw that line clearly, and we will not let it move. We also have to be clear about the push to replace truth with ideology, especially when it comes to gender. That push is driven by woke progressivism, and it seeks to undermine family values. And this is not complicated. Men and girls sports is wrong, and we will not surrender truth or common sense. And that, I'll take a round of applause. And that's why we defended President Trump's executive order protecting women's sports, and we blocked the Biden administration's damaging and radical Title IX rule, and it's also why we're defending Georgia's law banning taxpayer-funded transgender surgeries for prisoners, because in Georgia, we will not bend. And that same principle matters most when we talk about protecting life. I believe in the dignity and the value and the worth of every human being. And I will continue to defend life, including that of the unborn, and support policies that strengthen families and protect the most vulnerable. Because a society that loses respect for life will lose respect for everything else. And on my watch, Georgia will not go down that path. And we are seeing a disturbing rise in anti-Semitism across this country, including most recently last Saturday in a suspected arson attack in a synagogue in Jackson, Mississippi. Attacks on Jewish communities are attacks on religious freedom itself. When any faith is targeted, every faith is at risk. And let me be crystal clear. Political violence is not free speech, and hate will not be excused for activism. In Georgia, we'll continue to stand firm against anti-Semitism, religious intimidation, and violence of any kind. Because if the government pushes faith aside, it will look for something to replace it. And if you look around the country right now, the left is trying to replace it with socialism. And we need to be very clear about what we're up against. Socialist Zohran Mamdani in New York is not just offering different policies, he's advancing a worldview that is hostile to the values that built this country and has guided it for generations. But Georgia's success comes from a different model. Lower income and property taxes so families and employers can keep more of what they earn. And by the way, I like what Speaker Burns and the House have talked about, eliminating property taxes on primary residence. I think that it is thoughtful, it's proper, policy-driven, and it's not just a political document. The socialist agenda that moves in the private sector in Georgia, we empower it to grow and innovate. We support law enforcement, and we uphold the rule of law. But the socialist agenda moves us in the opposite direction. It strips away core American values like religious liberty, personal responsibility, and the rightful role of faith in public life. In that worldview, faith is pushed to the margins and treated as something to be tolerated privately and not protected publicly. And that will not happen here. I've proven as Attorney General that I will show up and I will take on the toughest fights. And as governor, you will get steady leadership, the courage to stand firm, and the discipline to do what is right. With your prayers and partnership, we will protect what matters in Georgia. I hope to earn your vote and your support, and may God bless you and God continue to bless our great state. Thank you.